Well, good morning. You get to see me in all my morning glory. Make our coffee, and then we can sit and chat. It's supposed to snow again. That's all I have to say to that. I mean, this is like one of my favorites right now. You could see it, pistachio latte. I like my pistachios. Like one of my favorite ice creams is pistachio. Oh, every time. One of my favorite ice creams is pistachio. So, in all my morning glory, I wanted to talk about dreams. Puffy-faced and all. Good God. I wanted to talk about dreams. Not like life dreams where you're saying, oh, I want to be a rocket scientist or I want to be a movie star. But dreams that, sweet dreams are made of these. The dreams that we wake up from, the dreams we have every night, and then in the morning wake up going, what the hell was that? Those dreams. I sometimes have very odd dreams, like I have these dreams that don't make sense, but there'll be a specific person in them. And inevitably, something happens in that family, in that person's family, or with, one of their family members, or with them. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Usually if it's in my dream, it's almost like it's trying to tell me, hey, maybe reach out to this person. I'm not a psychic. I don't claim to be any of that stuff. Or, oh, I have dreams and they come true. No, I'm just saying there have been times that I've dreamt something. I guess it's not so much what you're dreaming, but how you wake up from that dream, right? I would wake up with a feeling of uncomfort. Or, like I said, sometimes like, oh, I wonder what's going on there. Because it might be something good. Have you ever had any dreams like that? You dream about something and then a couple of days later it happens. Pretty crazy, right? So I know in my family, because, back in Poland, they had all these different sayings for things. I guess everybody had wives' tales, old wives. I don't know what it's called, but they would have, let me put my lid on so it stays nice and hot. Like you would dream about something, right? Like I would say, oh my gosh, I had a dream that I lost my tooth, and my family would be like, oh, there's gonna be a death in the family. And I'd be like, okay. Or don't dream that, like you have control over your dreams. Don't dream that. I remember my mother saying that to me one time. Don't dream things like that. That's my subconscious. I really can't help that. It's gonna happen. But I've always been fascinated by them. As a matter of fact, I have books on dreams. This one is like the secret language of dreams. So sometimes when I have a really weird dream with a certain thing in it, I'll look it up in here. There's also Freud. Freud is in here, but we won't even talk about him. We know what his answer would be to everything, right? It's a schlong. So it breaks it down into like different things like success and failure of dreams. But I do have, and maybe it's not this book. Oh yeah, it also has anger and frustration. If you're having a dream where you're either angry or frustrated, or you're fighting with someone, you have a dream where you're fighting with someone and you're hitting them with all your might. It's like you can't do it. It's for some reason in dreams, running, for me anyway, running. Awful. Like you can't run fast enough. You can't run away from anything or run towards anything fast enough. Just seems to take forever. And also with hitting, like if you're hitting someone and you're pushing all your might, no matter how hard you hit, It always lands soft. I don't know why. But this book it's good because it has the feelings that you're having in your dream, not so much the dream is about, right? Like, did you ever have a dream where something transformed from one thing to another? You know, one minute you were in your house and then the next minute you were in your car. So the house symbol is stability. And moving from the house to the car could mean that movement is important. For instance, for me, maybe movement means step it up a bit and get this house finished. But it's also foundation. So it could be that in your dream, you're feeling like your foundation of your life is not stable. It's moving. So things like that are symbolized in dreams. But I just find it very interesting. I think if I had to do my life over, I would want to work in the field of the mind, the brain, like how the brain works, how the mind works, like what, maybe like psychology and brain, like, I don't know, something to do with respect to what the brain does, but also what dreaming is like, what psychology is like, what all that is. Like, I would love to know all that stuff. I remember telling an analyst about my dreams, like a psychoanalyst. And a lot of times when we're in dreamland, our subconscious is letting us know what we need to work on. Sometimes it's just a relief of stress. So there would be times sometimes that I would dream about someone that I was arguing with. And it would be, you know, for instance, it would be my husband one minute, but then the next minute it would be somebody else, like my best friend. And then the next minute it would be somebody else. You know how like in your dreams, because they make absolutely no sense. You wake up from dreams going, what? And then when you try to tell them out loud, they make even less sense. Like when you were dreaming about it, it made sense. When you woke up, it still made sense. And then when you start telling someone and you go, so I had this dream and I was in a barn and I was walking around, but the barn was actually our house, but it wasn't our house. It just looked like a barn. And then I went upstairs in the barn and it was the upstairs of our house. And I was in my bedroom. Do you know what I mean? It's like none of it makes sense because we keep moving from the appearance in our dream keeps switching, right? People in our dream keep switching. The analyst was saying, well, it's not that. It's your subconscious is trying to figure out a way of whatever it is that you're stressing out about. So you might be angry about something, and so you're having a fight with your husband, but it's really your subconscious trying to fight out what's going on with you, which makes sense. There's so many times that I'm having dreams like I'm trying to resolve something almost. There are days where I wake up and I'm like, okay, that was an odd dream, but for the feeling I have is I feel lighter. So I think in that dream, whatever stresses were going on up here were resolved or showed me the way to fix it. And then that morning I wake up feeling like, oh, okay. And then I just go about my day and don't even realize that something that was bothering me yesterday, I now fixed. But yeah, I usually go with feelings. I think I do that more so now because when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to that, like how things made me feel. I think as you get older, you start to realize that that's what it's about. How do I feel when I'm around this person? How do I feel in this situation? I think we get more in touch with our feelings as we get older. You know, you start to almost analyze your own feelings. Well, I'm feeling like this. I wonder why, because of this. And then the subconscious will bring it to you in your dreams. There's also symbolism in dreams, right? Have you ever dreamt of a unicorn? And a unicorn, a Pegasus, a flying horse. I have. Actually, the name of our band when I was in high school, you know, the one I sang in, was Pegasus. But it symbolizes unleashing of energy for psychological or spiritual growth. I love that one. What about a dove? Have you ever dreamt of a dove? That's kind of easy, right? But in your dream, it's, of course, the search for peace, the acknowledgement of having peace, or even reconciling with someone. Butterflies. Butterflies symbolize the soul in its transformation. A lot of people say, oh, I dreamt about a butterfly and or they saw a butterfly and it's, you know, a transformation. but in their life, like it could symbolize that, like, you know, there's a transformation that's going to happen in your life. But the whole thing about the butterfly is that it's the transformation, it's the soul's transformation from life to death. I think a lot of people in their lives say when they see a butterfly, they say, oh, that's my dad, or oh, that's my mom, or oh, like when they see a butterfly that comes to them or near them or sits on their shoulder or something, that's the person that just passed coming back to visit them, which can be true. There's a mythology, it's the story of sage Chuang, and it goes something like this. He was unsure if he was a man who dreamt one night that he was a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming it was a man. It's pretty intense, right? Honestly, I don't think that I really dream of animals. My dog, my little Lola who passed away, she comes to me in dreams. And I say that because just as in life, they attach to a human. I think she was very attached to me emotionally. Even something on TV, if I was crying, if I got upset, every time I got angry about anything, she was right there. Like she was, you know, calming me down. She knew when something was wrong. And I think she comes to me in my dreams. She's been gone for 2 years now. I miss her dearly every day. There are days that I still think she's here. But she comes to me in my dreams. And I think a lot of the times it's because there's something that's unresolved and I'm angry about it, or whatever the feeling is that I'm having, and she comes to me. But yeah, so she's the only animal I think that I dream of. And going back to the fighting thing, you know how I was saying, like when you're fighting in your dream, sometimes, and I don't know if you've ever had this, but I've actually had dreams where I'm fighting myself. Like it's me looking at me and I'm fighting. And that's usually, I mean, kind of common sense, I guess, but you have buried emotions, stress, or a conflict in your own head that's trying to come out. So I just opened the window because I noticed in my other window that it's snowing, and it's supposed to snow all day. Not like sticking snow, obviously. It's flurries. We have green grass. But can you stand it? I'm gonna turn you around so you can see this. I'm gonna bring it to the window. Can you see the snow? I don't know if you could see it in here either, but it's snowing. You might be able to see it here the best. It just started, and it's supposed to go all day. So it's flurries, springtime. It's like almost the middle of April. There are a lot of different interpretations for dreaming, right? And the dreams that we have. Not necessarily warning, but showing you something. And it goes back again to feeling, how you wake up feeling. And I remember there's been a couple times now, and I don't know if it's because my daughter's further away, but I've had dreams about her and even would call her and say, how you doing? What's going on? At this point, she now goes, what'd you dream? But just recently, she had gone to a museum with her boyfriend. And during one of our FaceTimes, I said to her, anything new? What's going on? Have you gone anywhere? Any museums or anything? And she goes, did Brandon tell you? How did you know? And I said, no, just had a weird dream. And she said, yeah, like 2 days ago, we just went to the Museum of, I forget what it was, science or something, that's in Chicago. But I'll tell you, I sent her, because I said to her, this is what I dreamed. And she was like, that's just so weird, because I honestly do have some kind of connection with her. Well, obviously, right? Hold on, let me find it. So during our conversation, I didn't tell her about the dream because she started telling me about the trip to the museum, and then we got onto different subjects. So I had texted her to tell her, hey, you know, I forgot to tell you about the dream that I had about the museum. So this is what I sent her. In my dream, you and Brandon were walking around in a museum that had artwork on the walls, but there was also like 6 inches of water, and you were walking around in it. Then you entered another room, and there were crocodiles that were swimming around and snapping at the water, and you guys were just kind of walking around like it didn't even affect you. That was my dream. Should she have been a little bit nervous about going to that museum? I don't know, because there was crocodiles there, but that was my dream. And so I just happened to ask her, and she thought that her boyfriend must have texted me and said they're going to a museum or something. But it was funny. Her reaction was like, yeah, how did you know? Did he tell you? I'd love to hear if you have any recollection of dreams. If you had a dream and something came true, do you believe in dreams being a warning or a telling of something that's happening? Do you dream? That's a really good question. Because my husband, for the longest time, said, I just sleep, I don't dream. And I said, no, you dream, you just don't remember them. When you wake up, you don't remember them. Because according to studies, they say you do dream. Like when you're in REM sleep and your eyes are shifting all over the place, you're actually dreaming. When you wake up in the morning, it's not that you didn't have any, it's that you just don't remember it. I think there's only been, like, in all the years that we've been together, few times that he's woken up and said, I had this dream and it was this, and he tells me about it, and we kind of talk about it. So comment below. I'd love to hear about your dream. Maybe you had one, like one of the symbols that I talked about. Does your family believe in dreams and their meanings behind them? Do you think that ghosts visit us in our dreams? Do you have any stories to tell about? Like just anything. I would truly, truly love to hear about your dreams or anything that has to do with dreaming that you heard of, that you know of, that you studied, anything. I love this stuff. So if you made it this far, throw me those 3 hearts again. Why not? Like, subscribe, follow, click all the things you need to click. Okay, it's time to go. I wish you a great week with great dreams. Until then, sleep well, my flowers.